Hello, my name is Ian Kinder. I'm with Live Safe Academy, and I'm here today with Lou Kyoto of Gunfighters Limited, and we're going to be talking about force-on-force training, which can also be referred to as scenario-based training and assault simulation training. Lou, thank you very much for coming out to this video. I appreciate your participation, and can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background, please?
Sure. My name's Lou Kyoto. My background began as a martial artist approximately 1964. So I spent about 50 years now in the martial arts. In addition to that, I was a Marine captain. I spent approximately 10 years in the regular Marine Corps. And upon separation from my service, I was selected to be in the California Highway Patrol, where I am now retired after spending approximately 23 years in service there.
Well, today we're dedicating this video to a forum called Marshal Talk, which was originally founded by a gentleman named Bob Hubbard. He's a wonderful guy. I've talked to him many times. And since April of this year, 2014, somebody posted a thread on scenario-based training. And now May, when we're filming this video, it's had over 11 pages of dialogue. And I think that's really great because I'm happy to see so many people are interested in this important type of training. And can you introduce for us a little bit about what force-on-force training is?
Sure. Well, force-on-force training is a tool that we use to be able to test the various skill sets that are developed in an environment which, as close as we can, replicate reality. It allows an individual to walk into a three-dimensional environment. We have role players that are there to cause certain things to happen in the scenarios to allow the individual participating to apply the skills that they have developed.
So this might be something where an instructor puts on a padded suit and somebody can practice their skills full force against them without hurting the instructor and give them a greater sense of realism for what it's like to apply those skills in a real situation. It could also be force-on-force training where people might have heard of things like simunitions or airsoft, where people can put them into encounters where they're having to use their training gun to defend themselves just like they would a real gun. And can you tell us a little bit about why this type of training is so important?
Sure. Well, in a lot of the things that we do in training, we train various components of self-defense, and we need a medium to bring all of that together so that we can take the defensive tactics that we have trained, such as the use of striking or knees, elbows, all the things that are common to that type of more hand-to-hand combat type of training, along with our firearms training, any other tools that we may use, such as edge weapons or uses of batons and weapons of opportunity, and bring them into an environment where the individual can piece it all together in a real-time, in real space environment so that they can get a feel for how it all pieces together.
Now, scenario-based training is used in the law enforcement and in the military. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, as far as the military is concerned, this type of training has been ongoing for a number of years. In the early days, it was called war games. Now I'm sure it's more referred to in force-on-force type of training or verbiage. What it is basically units that would go out in the field and they would test the skills they've been developing in a controlled environment, but a realistic environment, so that they can see how that training is developed, see what the strong points are, what the weak points are, and know what things need to be either added or deleted in training to make it better for them. It's a very similar process that occurs within the law enforcement environment. Law enforcement officers receive training in their firearms, in the use of batons, and all the other array of tools that are available. And in force-on-force training, it gives them the opportunity to piece all this together realistically in real time to, again, not only fully understand how it coordinates with each other, but also if there's things that need to be added or deleted in training in their environment, it gives them a perfect way of being able to test things out and understand what needs to be added or what needs to be deleted from training.
So it's a great way for people to find out if certain methods aren't working for them, either because maybe the methods have problems or maybe their own personal skill is such that that might not be the right set of techniques for them, as an example, or maybe they need to work harder on developing certain techniques. It gives people honest feedback about what's going to work in general and what's going to work for them specifically. And does this type of training apply to the public also, or is it just something for the military and law enforcement?
Oh, absolutely. The public in general and anyone who is using skills they're developing with the intention of self-defense would have great benefit from getting involved in a force-on-force training environment. This will allow them, just as in the law enforcement and in the military communities, to see exactly how their training fits in when they have to also incorporate use of force decisions. As an example, if you have an individual who may have their concealed weapon permit and is armed with that firearm, it doesn't mean that all scenarios they get involved in will result in the use of that firearm. They may have to rely on their defensive tactics skills in order to solve a scenario. So it allows them, just as it does in the other environments, meaning military and law enforcement, to see exactly how their training is going to apply when we put it in a more real environment.
Now, sometimes people will criticize this type of scenario-based training or force-on-force training and say, well, it's not real. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's only obvious that there's a certain level that we can bring any force-on-force training to in order to maintain safety for the individuals who are participating. We're not going to be shooting live rounds at each other. We're going to have other safety measures in place to ensure safety when we employ our other defensive tools. We're not trying to create a 100% exact environment as it would be in a live fight, but what we are trying to do is take the skills that they've developed and bring them into the environment that allows them to test that skill in as real a way as possible while maintaining safety and minimizing injury.
Well, Lou, thank you very much for being a part of this video, and if you, the viewer, have felt that this information was helpful for you, please share it with others. We have other valuable information available online at livesafeacademy.com, a podcast series, a number of different safety-related videos, and also safety-related blogs. And if you would like to learn more about Lou Chiodo, you can visit him at his website at gunfighterslimited.com. Thank you very much. Be safe and have a wonderful day.